it makes sense to me. It's freaky, isn't it? It's scary, you know? And yet, you can disperse with all that because that's a synopsis. That's just philosophy. That doesn't necessarily have to be true. So when that happens, you backtrace, you know? You backtrace to what you do know. And you start studying that again. And that's what I've done. And I'll tell you, when I backtraced, I started finding out shit. I didn't get all caught up, you know. Oh, I'd get caught up on a night's worth or 2 nights worth, you know, over here and over there. But I'd always backtrack and go back, and I started finding connections all over the goddamn place, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. When I found out that one of the most respectable and reputed organizations in the United States has its founding in the Rosicrucian Society, and I can prove it. So freaky that I can't even say it. So obscure, so weird that it would devastate so many people. Would you rather be happy or would you rather be right?
That's kind of scary.
Yeah, man, and I had to deal with it.
It is scary, you know.
It is, and I had to deal with it. You know, Nana said I used to wake up having nightmares, just scary nightmares, you know, when I would study it. But I even prayed to God. I got lost, and I prayed to God, and I says, I need a missing, and I got one. I got me a missing link.
I'm wondering if you were going to say the church or something.
Which part of the church?
Well, I mean, like in Rome, you know, the Pope and all that.
Yeah, what about him? That's what that guy said, I'm supposed to die. I told you that the other day. Remember that? Yeah, the Rome and all that. You know, I'm a little man. I'm not, you know, that was my biggest problem, Vera, is that here I am handling what more than one person might say is the biggest job in the universe, you know, even daring to tackle it, you know. And I'm not even equipped to. I don't have the, you know, I don't have the knowledge to, you know. I need 50 Einsteins with me, you know what I mean? I need 40 historians.
This is so deep. I've never
my God,
had
I could tell you more
conversation
shit
like this.
Oh, man.
My mind is like so small and is trying to listen to all this that I've never heard of before in my life.
Let me tell you one thing again. I already told it to you once, so I guess it's safe to tell it to you again. I was doing this study when I was in France. And I took a plane from Paris, France, not knowing where I was going to go. And I ended up at 496 Canyon Acres. And in that house, I found a coffin. And inside the coffin, I found manuscripts that high of the Rosicrucian Society of England. And I had no idea what I had until I ran into Debbie Yuckle. And Debbie Yuckle, look her up, is the daughter of Texaco Distribution. And she's the one that pointed it out to me. See, all I had was the Golden Dawn. I was on to the Golden Dawn. But she's the one that pointed out to me. She says, don't you know that the Golden Dawn is connected with the Rosicrucian? And I'm like, what? And then she passed me over that book and showed me that page 10, second or third paragraph. And I memorized it. I memorized it that minute. Because she took the book with her. Some respects, Dr. Westcott's Order of the Golden Dawn is a byproduct of a much older fraternity named the Rosicrucian Society of England. Now, the Rosicrucian Society of England is very, very, very wealthy. They got I think their main headquarters is in Santa Barbara, but they're like Amway. You ever heard of Amway? They're billions of dollars. I mean, you know, lots of money. And they teach people, you know, to get spiritual or something.
How do people don't know about these things? So many people have never heard of this. I've never heard of any of this stuff. It's like all this.
I don't want to tell you. don't want to tell you.
I've lived this sheltered life or
If I
something.
told you, you wouldn't believe me, and I wouldn't even want to tell you. I wouldn't want to put me on the spot. But I will tell you this. No, I won't tell you that. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to tell you. There's so many things. Let me tell you about Gordon Wheeler. I hung out with him. I was in Westport, Missouri. I had all these things. I mean, incredible things in my apartment. I didn't even know what I had. And he's walking by, and this is years ago. We were both young and pretty guys. I had long blonde hair. Oh, he was beautifuler than me, and he had long blonde hair. And he's walking by. I had this lawn that went out for friggin' not a quarter of a mile, eighth of a mile it went out, you know. All grass, all mowed and everything. And he's walking by, you know, so I guess he's walking sideways a little bit because he's on the hill a little bit. And I was drunk. And I yelled out to him, hey, come on, man, come here. And he came on over. And I brought him on in, and we had a drink of wine. And then finally he goes, do you know who I am? And I'm going to tell you, I'm a good actor. I'm going to tell you I'm going to show you exactly what I did when he said it. I found it funny as hell when he said that. Come on in, kitty, kitty, kitty. Come on in, kitty, kitty, kitty. Stay out, kitty, kitty, kitty. So he's sitting there, pre-adventure. I mean, I don't know what direction, but we're about this far apart. And he goes, do you know who I am? And I go, I thought it was funny as hell. And I went, oh, you know. And he's getting a little smile on his face, you know. And I go down like this. I go, oh, do I know who you are? Oh, do I know who you are? Oh, you know. And he laughed, and I go, no. And then I got up and I got my wits, and I said, oh, I go. No. Maybe you're really somebody. Who are you? He goes, no, I'm nobody. Shut up. I'm nobody, you know. And then I finally got him to tell me. No, wait a minute. He didn't tell me, that son of a bitch. I'll tell you how I found out. We hung out together for about 2 months. We did everything together. We went everywhere. We dropped LSD all the time. And we went everywhere together. And then once upon a day, we were going to do something, and he was working at church. And he says, I've got to give a birthday present to my sister. This is how I found out who he was. I go, all right. And I had an old truck leaking oil and stuff. I says, I'll drive you. He goes, you sure? And I says, yeah, you know. No. So we drove. We're going through Westport. And Westport, Missouri, Kansas City is so much more beautiful than here. Because all these statues and stuff they have here, you know, I don't like them. Westport had mermaids, and, you know, fountains, and it's just so much neater. It's older and cool. And anyway, we kept going up the hill. And as we went up the hill, the houses got bigger and bigger. And as they got bigger and bigger, they started taking up whole blocks. And we never got to the top of the hill, but we finally pulled into this big place, you know. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? You know? And I started worrying about my oil leaking on his driveway. But anyway, we both went inside, and he brought out the Three Musketeers, because there was this other guy that was hanging with us, crazy guy named Rusty. And he had long red hair, and Rusty pissed his pants and stuff, but that's another story. But all three of us would hang out together and would drink. We'd go drinking, but we'd drink in the alleys behind bars. We never went into the places and everything. You know. Except a couple times, me and Gordon were on LSD, and we went into some of the most prestigious places you could imagine. You know. And we were accepted and everything, but so it's not like that. But anyway, most of the times our favorite hangout was the alleys. But anyway, this particular day, he comes down, he says, you ready to go? And I says, yeah. And he says, okay. He goes, oh, wait a minute, I got to say goodbye to my sister. So he went back upstairs, left me standing at the front door. Now, right here at the front door, they had this huge secretary. You know what that is? It's like a big hall entry place, you know, with a big mirror and hooks on it and stuff. And it was real beautiful, you know. This is a big house, you know. And there was a ton of mail on there.
Oh.
You know, like 30 letters, right? So I'm waiting and waiting. So I picked one up and I read it. And it says, the Honorable Mayor Wheeler, you know. I go, oh, these rich people, they got a letter from Mayor Wheeler, you know. So I put it down. I thought, I wonder what this one is. I picked it up and said, to the Honor Mayor Wheeler.
No way.
And I still thought, well, boy, Mayor Wheeler's trying to hit these fuckers up. And I put it back down. Then there was an envelope about yay big. And I lifted it up. And it said the same thing. Now, I was so stupid that I asked myself at that time, I said, now, wait a minute. When somebody writes a letter to somebody, do they put their name up into the left-hand corner? Or do they put their name down in the middle of the letter? You follow me? That's how dumb I was. I didn't even know. So as I'm holding this envelope, wondering if this letter was sent to them personally or sent by the mayor to them, and he come down the stairs and he goes, oh, I didn't expect for you to see this, you know. And I'm thinking, okay, let's go. So we're in the truck and we're driving down the hill, and I said, I want to ask you something. He goes, okay. And I says, Mayor Wheeler is the mayor of Kansas City, Missouri, right? He goes, that's right. I go, now wait. You know, that pissed me off, you know, because now I'm excited, you know. Says, now wait a minute. Says, your last name is Wheeler, right? And he goes, yes. And he's all calm and everything. That's the way he always was, you know. I says, now wait a minute, you know. I says, therefore, all them letters in there are to your dad? Or some shit, however I asked it. Anyway, he said yes, yes. You know, he was the son of the mayor, you know, of Kansas City, Missouri. Now, Kansas City, Missouri is not, I've met mayors, you know, I met the mayor in Conway. But Kansas City, Missouri is a very big city, you know. That's where the Royals baseball team is, you know. So, he told me he didn't want me to see that. And by the way, he was going to Taos. He decided right then, he took a trip. I never saw him again. He took a trip to Taos, Mexico. You know, he was really into spiritualism. He was against his dad. That's why he was living in this really funky. He was living in this rat cockroach apartment. But when you go in there, there was nothing in the room. The room was clean, and he had brand new clean sheets on his little tiny bed in there. You know, real humble, you know, living in the Peasantville. See what I mean? But it was really him and everything. And he told me, he says, this is probably going to ruin our friendship because I didn't want you to know who I was. You know? Right. This has happened many, 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 many times. In my whole entire life, it's happened so many times that it would not even compute. It won't even be believable, and yet I can prove everything. I can prove it. Oh my God. Oh shit.
Wow, that's
Too much for tonight.
a lot.
That's enough, maybe, for tonight. You can't get it all in one night. It's way too much. For me to tell it all to you in one night is not possible. It's not even possible. Because I'd have to tell you my life story.
You need to write a book about your life. That's what you need to do.
You have no idea. You have no idea how many times I've attempted and tried to and what's happened. It's like...
Your fire's going out.
Nah, well, it's all hot now. It's like it's